we're going to see the treatment of mid-thoracic with the patient supine. For that, we're going to use two towels here because I do not have any headpiece on that bench. And I'm going to ask the patient, would you mind to lay down on your back, please? Good. The legs are going to be kept straight, and while we do that, we will see that later on. Let's review the different contacts that we can have in this technique. We can have a double contact, with basically we're going to hug the patient with both fists closed. We can also use one single fist contact, either on our side, the homolateral side, or on the contralateral side. And we will see the advantage of either one of them. And as far as the hand contact, we can use an open hand like that, or a fully closed hand, and even we can hold something between our fingers to avoid them to be crushed, like a piece of PVC rubber pipe. A lot of people do that. Now, the secondary hand, if we use only one hand for the contact, the secondary hand is going to hold the patient's head, or it's going to be part of the double fist contact. So the patient, I repeat, is supine. His knees are straight. The head is slightly bent. And we have two possible arm positions for the patient. So his arms can be crossed like that, or they can also be behind his neck. Can you hold your hand and bend this way? In both cases, if we are a woman, we will need to use a towel to protect ourselves because the elbows are sharp. I'm going to cross the patient's arm. As I cross the patient's arm, I create a tension in the mid-thoracic. I raise the patient's shoulder off the table, and I'm going to use an open fist contact right here. Now, if I have a patient which is a little bit, or I don't have a towel to bring the heads of the patients up, I'm going to slightly bend the patient's head till I feel under my hand the tension. Then I lower slightly the head, and I'm going to press my shoulder, and we call that a thoracic lean, and finally I will drop my body. I still keep it, I don't put too much pressure on it. I ask the patient to breathe in and breathe out, and I will drop my body on the patient, treating the mid-thoracic. The second option, which is more adapted to the lower thoracic, basically. It's middle, but the section a little bit more lower on the middle. I stand medial, facing medial to the patient, and this time I'm going to raise the patient head with a pillow because I'm going to use two fist contact, and for that I cannot hold the patient's head in flexion. If I am a female doctor, I will place a folded towel over the patient's elbows. And what I'm going to do here is basically have the patient first come toward me. Bend your patient's head a little bit. I keep the bilateral contact and I hold his head. Breathe in, breathe out. Keep your head bent. And third option. In this option, we're going to ask the patient to grab his neck with both hands. Can you grab your neck with both hands? And we're going to keep him this way, okay? And I'm going to turn the patient's body, and same thing. We can do that. Keep your neck well bent. I'm going to slightly, gently bring the patients up a little bit. I hold them. I instruct the patient, I'm going to take an open contact. I instruct the patient to breathe in, breathe out, and treat the patient. Very gentle type of adjustment. How to choose what contact and position? These techniques offer multiple possibilities and need to be adapted to the patient, the doctor on a case-by-case basis. One-sided contact enables you to treat lateral fixation a bit better. But after that, it becomes a choice of the doctor and the patient in front of him. What is the mechanism? The mechanism, the cephalad arc of tension, is created by maintaining the head in flexion, either by holding the patient's head with the hand, either the right or the left, depending on our contact. Also by blocking the patient's head with your own head, as I showed before, or by the patient himself blocking his head in flexion using both hands and holding his neck. The segmental extension is initiated by the flexibility of the ribs when the doctor starts to put pressure on it. So basically you have your contact which is sandwiched between the patient and the table, and the obliquity of the rib itself leads to a separation as you compress them. The caudal arc of tension is created by the natural lumbar lordosis, which is pulled by the psoas when the legs are straight. So we have directly a tension on the lumbar by having the legs straight, but now we can adjust that, and if we are a little lower on the lumbar, we may want to have the patient gently flex a bit the feet.